Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in to my photography channel for today. We are going to be talking about taking pictures on a camera. Yay! So we are going to be talking about aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, the most important things when taking pictures. So we're going to talk about what those things mean and how to properly use it. So by the end of this, you are going to be an absolute pro at taking pictures, and they're going to look amazing. So let's get right to it. I am excited.
Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is shutter speed, which is controlled by this knob right here on the camera. So when I move it, the numbers change on the screen. Like if I move it left to right, they change. So what those numbers mean is a high shutter speed, which looks like a fraction, you're going to want to use when it is very bright outside, meaning not a lot of light is coming through the lens. You're going to want to use a low shutter speed, which looks like the number with the quotation marks in the middle. You're going to use that when it's very dark outside, meaning lots of light is coming through. But when you use a low shutter speed, you can possibly have blurry photos. So you're going to want to set your camera down on a stable surface and take your picture, or set it on a tripod, so that way it doesn't turn out blurry. The next thing we're going to be talking about is ISO, which also it stands for film speed. So you can find ISO by clicking this button right here, and it takes you to your ISO. So you can see that there is high numbers and low numbers, and there's also the auto part. So a low ISO means that low speed, and you're going to want to use that when it's very bright outside. And then the high ISO is going to be for high speed, and you're going to use that when it's very dark outside. And that also has stuff to do with like the amount of lighting that is being let into the lens as well. So using a high ISO, you have the possibility for high amounts of grain in your pictures, which is not very good. So you always want to set it to auto. Just let technology do the work, and that way you won't have the possibility of getting grain in your photos. So the next thing we're going to talk about is aperture priority, which is AV. So you can find that by this button right here. So it says AV. So the way you change that on your camera is by pressing that, again using this knob, and you can see the highlighted box and how the number changes like that. So what that basically means is it changes the aperture priority on your camera. So whenever you're taking pictures for a portrait, meaning of a person, you're going to want a number that looks like f4, so a very low number. And that means you're going to have a very shallow depth of field. So the person's face is going to be in focus and the background is going to be blurry. If you're taking a picture of something like a field or buildings and stuff like that, and you are going to want a high number like f22, which means you're going to have a deep depth of field, meaning almost everything is going to be in focus. So yeah, that's all I got. Thank you guys.